morning and welcome back to Engine Modified Weekly. Today, really ran out of stuff to do with bodywork. I can't be asked to sand down any more panels, so I'm going to try and see if I can start rebuilding this engine. Obviously we've got the block here, the engine head here, camshaft, all the valves, springs, seats and bullshit like that. So I'm going to try and lap the valves into these valve grooves, which are not even that bad to be honest, but just get the rough burrs of the edges off. And then with the block I've got all new piston rings, all new crankshaft bearings, all new rings and conrod bearings, all new thermostat hoses and everything, new crankshaft, whatever that is, I can't remember, crankshaft sprocket. All that new stuff came fresh from Germany from Autodoc, but today we're going to focus mainly on doing the head, get it all nice and cleaned up, put back together. I do have somewhere up here a head rebuilding kit. So we've got all our new valves, I can't remember what they're called, all new gaskets and everything. But yeah, we're going to get that all nice and smoothed off and lap these valves in. Let's get it done. As far as I am aware, we've got this valve grinding tool that you put on the end of the valve per se. You can lift the valve up, put it back in, and that's what gives us our spinning motion on the actual valve itself. We've got a coarse grade and we've got a fine grade. I think I'm only going to use the fine grade because I don't think it's actually that bad. But yeah, I'm just going to break the seal off. Just apply some paste around the edges of here and the edges of this valve. So don't want to use too much, just get the area all lubed. And obviously we need to put a little bit around the edge of the valve. Wipe your finger, put the valve back in, just spin it back and forth. Till you start hearing that grinding noise. Do that for about a minute. What that's going to do is it's going to compress that valve onto that holding, so when the valve opens and closes it makes a nice firm closure. For instance, take a look at this valve that hasn't been done. You can see all the pitting in it and everything, and you can take a look at the actual seat where it's got a little bit of shit and pitting in it. This valve hasn't been done and it barely pushes in, versus a valve seat that has been done. See a nice uniform burr all the way around and a nice uniform burr when it focuses across the valve. That seat has been done and you can hear it go in nice and tinny, whereas this one still sounds a bit tinny but just doesn't sit nicely against the actual valve lap. So I'm going to do this one next, work my way across all of the intake valves and then come back and do the exhaust. I've taken the valves out in the order that they came out, as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've now put in new valve stem seals. Pushed them all in, just get some long nose pliers and apply some pressure all the way around the head of it. Give them one last push with your finger just to make sure they're all nicely seated, just in case. They seem to be all fine, all solid. As you can see, they're pushing on my finger, so I can't physically push them down anymore. But yeah, all of those in. I need to flip the engine on its side like so, and then I can put all of the valves back in. I'll try and show you. Obviously, engine goes this way round. So let's put all the valves back in first. So, number 1, we've got tighten valve in there. Valve 2, valve 3, valve 4, valve 5, and valve 6. Or 8 rather. If we flip this back over, you should be able to see any of our valves along here. You can see if any of the valves have been pushed out, the valve stem seals have been pushed out by the valves, but they all look pretty good. I might go through and give them one more push down now the valves have been, but they all look pretty good to me. So we've got all the valve springs ready, all nicely ground off and smooth. I did that ages ago. Basically, valves are there, a spring and seat goes in there. You compress it with the valve spring compressor, and then I've got some new valve collets which you just slide over. You get 2, slide them over the edge to keep the seat and valve in there. So I'm going to try and show you the best I can. I do have a video of removing them, but put them back into another game. So let's try ahead and go and do that. Cut my wedge to go against the flat surface against the valves, so it holds the valves there. So let's just try and show you how to do it. Don't know how well I'm going to be able to record this, but those 2 are on. This is the situation you have to deal with. You have to get those 2 collets in there. Try and explain this very badly. So imagine the valve is in there, the thing goes on like that, and then you get a seat, sits on top like that. You get 2 little valve collets. Now when that spring is compressed like that, you need to get those between that line where you just saw these valve collets over there like that, and then that one next to it like that, so they're both pushed together and they look like that. And then when you push that spring up, they both sit in there like that. And doing that in that incredibly small space is very, very difficult, but that's how it needs to be. So I'm going to try and record me doing this intake valve now. I don't know how well it's going to go, but yeah, give it a go.